You know, women, we only dilate to 10 centimeters. His head was 16 centimeters. 16! I will never be the same.
I broke my hip and you didn't believe me. And that is has been traumatizing me for years.
And so your dad disappeared when Ariana was 10 days old and never to be seen again. Well, was that the best Christmas present you ever got or what?
It was so cool.
So my sister was like, do we ask for permission? And then I go, Gabby, you know if we ask for permission, they're gonna say no. I said, so let's ask for forgiveness instead. So here we are, we printed our MapQuest directions. So he hit me so hard. Number one, my body slammed up against the wall. I saw black and little stars and all I remember was kind of melting. In honor of Mother's Day, let's talk about the childhood trauma that I put you through.
Wow.
Let's talk about motherhood beyond the bullshit.
Welcome back to another episode of Beneath the Bullshit. Today is Mexican Mother's Day. I think we could just call it Mother's Day. It's
Mexican Mother's Day. They don't understand. You have to explain it.
It's Mexican Mother's Day. Can you explain the difference? What's the
In
difference?
Mexico, regardless of what Sunday, where it lands, May 10th is Mother's Day, regardless. Monday through Friday, it's Mother's Day. Mm-hmm. So lucky for us, if you're Mexican, you get to celebrate twice. So I get celebrated today and tomorrow.
Well, Mother's Day is today.
Mexican Mother's Day.
There's a lot of motherly things to dive into.
God. Like?
I don't know. What were we just talking about? Well, let's address the main event of the day, I guess. Yeah. It has to do with neither of us.
About how Jessica ruined the pozole?
Jessica ruined the pozole today.
Almost.
So,
she almost killed all of us.
Well, it has a little bit to do with the mothers because we had pozole to celebrate the mothers, which is a very special meal.
This is true.
Pozole. And now enter Jessica ruining it.
And then Jessica almost ruined it and killed
explain the
us
unspoken rule.
I mean, I feel like it's an urban myth, but I mean, like we all as Latinos, Mexicans know this. But FYI, Jessica is not Latina. She may look Latina, but she's very much not. Jessica didn't know, but she did almost kill us all by ruining the pozole.
For anyone that doesn't remember, Jessica is Jaime's wife from the last episode.
Yes. So Jessica was, as always, trying to find a snack when she got to my mom and dad's house. And she was like, oh, look at this giant pot of pozole. Let me just serve myself a bowl and microwave it. Who microwaves pozole? Jessica does. And then my mom, who was, laid up because she just had a bunch of surgeries and she, was not well, said, ay, no, Jessica. Because the unwritten rule is you're not supposed to stir an unboiled pot of any kind of soup or stew. So caldo, albóndigas, pozole, menudo. So if you have leftovers, you put it in the fridge, you take it out of the fridge, you're not supposed to stir it until it's boiled. Otherwise, you could potentially make it spoil.
As a nurse, how, I guess,
again, I go back to, I think it's an urban myth. Okay. But I go back to like when, but I'm Mexican, so I have to follow the rules. Like when I was pregnant with you and your Aunt Josefina called me and then she was like, hey, are you wearing red underwear and pin something metal to your underwear? And I was like, why? She's like, because there's a lunar eclipse. And I was like, what does that have anything to do with anything? And then they're like, well, because you don't want your kid born with, like a third eye or 10 toes on one hand. And then I was like, what? Urban myth. Did I wear the red underwear and clip the metal thing to my to it? Yes, I did.
Oh, enter Jaime. We just outed Jessica for ruining the pozole.
Yes, and then she also ate all the sour cream that my dad loved.
She did eat all the sour cream.
The Mexican.
In her defense, it wasn't sour cream. It was crema salvadoreña.
Still, Salvadorian sour cream.
Hey, but aren't you glad you followed that wives' tale about the underwear? Because look at how wonderful that man came out.
Debatable.
Can we talk about what we just talked about? How I broke my hip and you didn't believe me, and that is has been traumatizing me for years.
Okay, but that kind of comes with being a nurse. Okay, as a nurse, you know this, that I'm not gonna get up out of bed unless you're bleeding out, unless someone's dying. Why? Because I deal with people that are actually dying at the hospital. So when this guy was playing soccer in 6th grade,
8th grade,
8th grade, whatever. And then what does he do? He kicks a kid in the stomach, and I'm watching him limp around. And then he calls me over, and there goes his mommy, like a good mom, runs across the field to see what's wrong. And I said, take some ibuprofen and walk it off. And then he kept complaining and whining. And then his coach finally said, I can't play him until you go get him checked out. So I took him to see his primary care doctor. And the primary care doctor's like, I don't know. At his age, orthopedic injuries could happen. And I'm just like, oh my God. So then here we are at doctor's office, at the orthopedic's office. We're sitting in the waiting room, and I look over at him and I said, and this is, I could have done a little bit better, but that was the nurse in me. I said,
so you're a horrible nurse?
No, any nurse watching this show, please comment and say, would you have done the same? Because you would have. And then I looked over at him and I said, if we go into this appointment and the doctor says you have nothing wrong, I am going to make you pay the deductible on this appointment.
Oh, that's good.
And then the doctor goes in and he does all his little maneuvers, and then he checks the x-ray, and then he comes back and he does some more maneuvers, and then he says, yeah, your son has a broken hip. I did feel like a bag of ass, but
for the record, she did feel very bad.
I felt horrible. I even offered to carry him to the car. Did I or did I not?
Yeah, but
Too little, too late.
too little, too late.
But let's talk about what was the treatment for said broken hip. Did you wind up in a body cast? No. Did you need traction? No. Did you need surgery? No. The doctor said it's a not weight-bearing bone, so all we have to do is rest. Which you were already
She's trying to use big words to
Trying to
confuse me.
use nurses' terms to distract you from
Traction.
Yeah. Traction.
He didn't need anything. The doctor just said it's a not weight-bearing bone, so all he has to do is rest. So I was already doing the appropriate treatment without even knowing you had a broken hip. Over-the-counter medication and rest.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not to derail from this.
You ruined the pozole. Go.
How long was birthing him?
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the birth story.
Oh my
Okay?
God.
Number one, I got pregnant when I was 19. Neither here nor there. And then I had him when I was 20. He had the biggest head. Women, we only dilate to 10 centimeters. His head was 16 centimeters. 16! I will never be the same. So this is kind of like
Can we
payback.
not talk about that?
Yeah, what does that say about you?
Hey, I do my Kegels on the daily. I'm doing them
Holy
right now.
Oh, wow.
Can we talk about the future of parenting? I think that's a big one.
Well, let's talk about the 13 hours of labor that you are ungrateful for. 13 painful hours. Okay, anyway.
I think. What do you think that TikTok is ruining modern day
1000%.
parenting
1000%. And I
and AI?
I witnessed it personally because, like, my upbringing compared to your upbringing, because I feel like social media is putting such an emphasis on like when I was young, I could leave school and I could care less what my friends were doing other than if they lived next to me. Where my children would see it on social media, would see it on whatever was active at the time. I don't know what you guys had. Snapchat, Instagram,
think
Insta
Snapchat
Stories,
was new,
Finstas. I don't know what the hell it was.
Instagram, yeah.
Anyway, Facebook. No,
No.
they didn't have Facebook. But anyway, so like I remember one of my children would be like, "Oh, so and so went to such and such place and they didn't invite me." Where my friends were probably doing that all the time,
Yeah.
but
you don't see
I
it.
didn't see it, so I didn't care. Like I was happy in my life with just my lame sister as my best friend. So, but like a social,
Edit that out, please.
don't edit that out. Leave that in, lame sister.
Got it, lame sister.
But nowadays, I feel like social media puts such an emphasis on like societal norms, and it's also like it's diminishing our attention span. Like we're so used to like the instant gratification of those short little reels instead of like I even have a hard time sitting down watching a movie. But or Gordo when he watches his stupid YouTube shows about soccer and it's the same thing over and over again. It's annoying. But anyway.
Okay, Gigi. The dogs are currently fighting on the ground. What would be your I guess your 4th trimester survival guide? Tips and tricks to make it through the first 12 weeks.
For the first 12 weeks?
Is it first? What's the fourth trimester? What?
Fourth trimester is the last. First trimester is when you first get pregnant. Then second.
So I guess
trimester is like
your
the
tips
beauty.
on getting through the postpartum.
Postpartum. I think postpartum has a lot to do with your partner and your support system, because like people always talk about like the beauty of pregnancy. It's crap. You're fat, you're tired, you're crampy, you can't bend, you can't eat towards the end and all that. And then you give birth to this child that you're instantly supposed to be responsible for. So like when you have a support system that's like, you sleep, let me take care of the baby, that's phenomenal. If you have a supportive partner, that's phenomenal. But then you also have for example, Keely, who
These
is
fucking dogs, bro.
Lulu, come on.
Come here, Lulu.
Yeah,
don't mind the
gentle parented dogs.
the WWE going on with the dogs over here.
Lulu, come here. Get up.
But like for example, Keely who's breastfeeding, and then so like you really can't let other people take care of the baby because that baby's like attached to you.
Yeah.
So
I think that's where we're, I guess, finding difficulty. It's very
right.
hard to plan anything.
Yeah. Which is why with like when I had Gordo, he was my fourth one, and I had Aurora who was little, and she was all like, I want a snack, I want juice, and he was cluster feeding, so I was like, he was like attached to me, and I just couldn't. Like I was having to lug him around and take care of her, so I opted to pump. So he was still only receiving breast milk, but I was pumping, and that way I could hand you a bottle, or hand Ariana a bottle, or hand Mauricio a bottle, and you guys could take care of him while I took care of other stuff. So there's ways around it. It's just whatever works for you. They say breast is best. It's what works best for you.
So what was easier, having a kid at 20 or having a kid at 40?
It's different. FYI, if you guys didn't know, I had this guy when I was 20, his sister when I was 21, and then now I have a 7 and a 5-year-old. So when you guys were little, you guys got like the most energy of, like, I was physically more able, but I was also like young. You guys kind of grew with me.
Yeah.
So, and plus, like, I was going through nursing school, and you and Ariana were teeny little babies. So you also got the most stressful part of me.
Yeah.
But then now Ariana and Gordo, like, I'm an established person. Aurora. Edit that
Mom
out.
of the year.
Edit that out. Number 1, 2, and 3 and 4. Aurora and Gordo have like a more emotionally available parent, but I'm also tired. Like, I would make you eat your zucchini, and I could care less if they eat cupcakes for dinner. I'm like, you want 3 cupcakes? Yeah, that's fine. That sounds like a solid dinner to me.
I feel like all the like the parenting stuff is so different. Like, I see how we were, even like from different perspectives, you see it different. Like, looking at just how my friends were growing up, and then now how my friends are raising kids, and how I'm raising a kid, and how Chicho and Aurora are being raised, and how Vale was raised, and all this stuff. Like, it's all so different.
It's because so many things.
And you start
come into
realizing
play.
that, like, there's no
right or
guide.
wrong. It's just whatever
Yeah.
works for you.
Yeah.
But a lot of it has to do with like cultural
And
norms
as
too.
long as your kid's not an asshole.
Yes. Don't raise assholes.
I mean, how was it for you growing up in a house with 6 adults that could all spank you? That wasn't rough on you?
They didn't spank you.
I spanked the
They
crap out of this kid.
they spanked. I just feel like
Spank you.
I just think I don't remember that. Like, I feel like I just don't, like, that wasn't like a significant part of my childhood that I'm like,
I feel like that's the cultural thing because
I mean, you were 18 and barely around.
he abused his power at 18. He
And like Chewy was 12
No,
But-
Chewy was Chewy was
when you
at
were
18
when
I
you were
had a
born.
big boy job
Oh, I guess.
working at Sponge Cushion.
But then let's talk about like when I was in labor with Aurora, that Chewy and Sarah had to take you to freshman orientation because I was in labor. So there was that.
Yes, that's true.
But it takes a village.
takes a village.
It takes a village, and it's always nice to have a nice, healthy village. Thanks, Jessica, and Sarah, and Chewy, and Jaime, and
Jessica
Mom, and Dad,
wasn't here.
and Gabby. Oh, wow.
What?
He just said you weren't even here. Wow.
You're
Hey, I blame Jaime.
You're dirty.
Why didn't he meet you sooner?
Yeah, why didn't he meet you sooner?
That's
She's
his
a
bad.
jackal that decided to move to San Diego.
Do you have mom guilt?
Yes.
Okay, can you describe what your mom guilt is?
I
guess?
have
We're
a
diving
lot-
deep. We're getting beneath the bullshit today.
I have a lot of mom guilt about my marriage.
How so?
Well, because like I had you guys, and we talked about deadbeat dads a couple episodes ago.
Yep. Okay.
And so your dad disappeared when Ariana was 10 days old, and never to be seen again. To the day he's going to be 22, and I have yet to see him in person since then. 10 days old, Ariana was. So
to clarify, I'm the only one of us that's seen him in person recently.
yes,
Not recently, but within the last 2 years.
Yeah, deadbeat dads. But so when I married my current ex-husband, and
Yikes.
yeah, still married, but actively single. Send me your hot dads.
Oh my god. Well, should we do a mom dating show? Should we do
35 to
like
45.
like a live mom
Preference
dating
is
show?
like 5'8" to 6 foot.
Should we just swipe through her Tinder on live on camera?
Let's see what-
Should we?
Look, I have a match right now.
Oh my god. You're stupid.
He's so unimpressive.
Let's talk about how you feel about me dating at 42.
I don't really enjoy hearing about
Why
you.
not?
I just
How does
I
it
just
bother
think
you?
it's
Icky?
because it's not like I saw you dating Mauricio.
Correct.
Like I was 5.
Right.
Like it's not like that was like I was a part of that whole thing. Like this was just a guy that came over for probably pozole that wasn't ruined, and like
Didn't have E. coli.
that
It
didn't
was
have any
Virra,
problem.
actually, and your abuelito invited him.
Yeah, probably came over for Vidia and like
So my dad's fault for me getting divorced because he invited him over for the first time.
and like that wasn't. It's not like I knew. Like it's not like people didn't always come over.
Okay.
So it was just another guy that was.
So, but
coming
why is it
over.
weird now? You don't even know anybody that I've dated.
I think it's because I know it's happening. Like I'm aware of the situation.
What's happening?
I don't really like to think about what's happening. Can we maybe switch the subject? I do.
Go back to the mom guilt, he says.
Mom guilt. Okay, let's go back to the mom guilt. So anyway, so when I married him, and I remember my oldest daughter said, "Mom, can I call him Dad?" And I was like, "Ooh." And then I said, "Well," I'm like, "Not right now." I said, when like as things progress, I said, if he feels comfortable letting you call him Dad and you feel comfortable calling him Dad, then so be it. And it did escalate that. And both of my older kids called him Dad. But now, like looking back at it, there is so many things that I let slide that I shouldn't have. Like I don't feel like I did my kids a disservice, but I feel like I wasn't allowed to be the mom that I wanted to be. So now that I am able to look at it from like the outside in, I do have that mom guilt. Like, had I not married him, what kind of mom would I have been? And now I have mom guilt because now that I'm divorcing the younger kid's dad, now I'm like, essentially, I'm a single mom to these 2 kids. They do have their dad, but then, when Aurora's like, oh, so is it 2 days with you and then 2 days with dad this week? It hurts me that my kids have to think about that.
Do they understand what's happening?
I think they do because the other day, not that long ago, Aurora goes, Mom, yo ya quiero que tengas un novio. Mom, I want you to have a boyfriend. And I said, oh, ¿por qué, mija? And then she's like, porque así yo voy a tener 2 papás y 2 mamás. And I was like, I'm like, that's not how it works, mija. I go, not because I have a boyfriend means that you're going to have 2 dads. Well, she's like, but if you get married again, and then I'm going to have 2 dads. And then if dad gets married again, then I'm going to have 2 moms. And that's going to be like extra presents. I was like, well.
How is it navigating, like, I guess the split? Like, having to do, like, how do you explain that to them? Like, this is this is what's happening now? How did that go? Because I was obviously having
Gone.
a baby
Yeah.
while this was going on. So like, how did you kind of explain to
Explain it
Aurora
to
and
them?
Chicho that?
So
Because obviously it's different explaining it to me
yeah,
than it is to
like your stepdad's an ass hat. And
yeah,
we're
like
separating.
it's different. It's different saying to me that this is happening. Like I understand versus telling a 7 and a 4-year-old, hey,
So I
I'm
remember-
gonna get an apartment. I'm gonna get a.
I don't
new
think I ever
house.
explained that. I think it just like happened, and I didn't feel the need for an explanation. It wasn't until I had moved in here because I moved in with my parents for a little bit. Not a proud moment, but hey, it was a place to live. But it did feel like a step backwards. You know, like a divorce always feels like you failed, like you were, you know, you had a whole ass home and you know, a life and all this stuff, and then you had to take a bunch of steps backwards. But anyway. So like moving into your parents' basement felt like a super duper failure. Like, oh God, you know. But anyway, we were driving and I don't remember where we were driving to. And I'm sure that your stepdad planted the seed in Aurora's head because then she said, Mom, why don't you love Dad anymore? And I said, Mija, I do love your dad. And then she's like, no, he says that you don't love him anymore. And I said, Mija, that's not true. I said, sometimes, I said, I still love your dad very much. I said, because he is your dad. I said, but sometimes parents are better parents when they're not together. I said, because now, and then she said, you're right. She said, because you and Dad used to fight a lot. And I thought I did a really good job not fighting with him in front of them, like not letting them see it. But apparently not, because she said, yeah, you and Dad fought a lot. And that hurt me. I was like, oh. Here I thought I was doing a good job, and she realized it. So I said, so sometimes I said, we're just better parents when we're not together. And then she just said, yeah, okay. And she took it as just like, it's fine. And Gordo, I think, was just too little to realize. He doesn't really, I mean, he was so little when we separated.
He was 2, right? Or almost 3.
He was 2, because I moved out September 2022. So yeah, so he was 2. But I asked him for the divorce a year after Gordo was born. 2021. January 2021. If anybody has a nice pro bono lawyer they can offer.
So
my lawyer sucks.
love him. What would your advice be to someone in a struggling relationship with a kid? Like what? Obviously, the common advice is like, don't stay together for the kids. Like,
yes, do not stay together for the kids.
Don't think you have to say. But what would you say to someone who is debating
divorce or? So I'll tell you, I read a book about divorce, and I don't remember what the book is called. It's in my nightstand in my house. But I remember that it said to think way back. If you think back in your marriage, and you can pick happy moments that happened during your marriage, like if you can think of like a common thing, like you guys really enjoyed waking up in the morning and drinking your coffee together and like, you know, shooting the shit about what news or whatever. Like if there was a moment that you guys both enjoyed, then there might be hope at saving it. But if you can't pinpoint a happy moment in your marriage, then that's probably better that you're not in it. And I look back at my marriage and I think about, I'm like, okay, well, we used to go on vacations, but then I remember about like all the things that went into like I was never happy and not anxious during those moments. I was always anxious as to how the interaction was going to be with you guys and him, or who was booking the tickets, or where we were going, or if there was fun things for you to do, or who was packed and who wasn't packed, and what time we were leaving, and who had their passports and who didn't. And that was always all on me. And so like I was always just super stressed when we were on vacation. It was never, I was just parenting in a different area code where he got to chill and I didn't. So then vacation was like, okay, no.
Well, if it means anything, I think that I only remember the vacations being like a vacation.
Yeah, that's because of me.
Yeah, they're just like, you know, if that helps.
Well, because that does help my mom guilt a little bit, because then, you know, like I know that I did my part for you guys to enjoy the vacation.
I actually, looking back, I feel like I feel like we dragged the trip down at times. Like Orlando. I felt like there was so many things planned around us and we didn't take advantage of them.
Like the time I tried to take you to Disney?
Like the time you tried to take us to Disney.
And then you're like...
we were like, let's not go to Disney.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Son guilt?
I guess.
Mommy
I
loves
guess.
you.
Do you feel guilt because of your mom's divorce?
Do you feel at fault?
No, no. I feel like from this perspective, I think the problems originated on their own. Definitely, my sister and I threw maybe rocks in the road here and there that maybe escalated the situation, but
I would never blame you guys for the divorce, but I know that you guys were like the center of a lot of our fighting because like I felt the need to like be mama bear. Like I did get to a point where I felt the need to be more mama bear. And I wasn't just letting things slide as because he was just being a overprotective Hispanic dad. But then so then that's when we started to fight because then he's like, he didn't like that I was like, confrontational with him.
I think what made it hard on your part throughout it all was that in the beginning you let so much
Slide.
be okay that now
It was
10
hard to
years
take it
down
back.
the road you can't be like
Just kidding, you can't parent them.
exactly like I've come to realize like there's and personally in my relationship that I have to speak up on things that maybe that I don't like or whatever, just certain ways we are like I need to voice that how I want something. Keely's made it known to me that I need to communicate when something is like not bothering me, but like I want
Something that you feel is important for Kalea to know.
something I feel is important. I need to voice it, or else down the line, it's just not gonna be a thing. So
because if it's not important now, it's not going to be important later.
Yeah. So I think in our I think in our lives, like I said, we threw a lot of rocks in the road that made it difficult for you guys to continue on, and probably brought about the end sooner than it would have because of like you can only take so many arguments.
Oh yeah.
You can only take so much. It probably filled your tank up a lot sooner than it would have.
I think a lot of it came when you guys hit teenage years because like those teenage years, everyone thinks that the baby years are easy. No, because you just feed them, change them, burp them, put them to sleep, and then you're done with them. Is it more time consuming? Yes, but the teenage years is when it gets hard because then you're basically dealing with a miniature version of yourself. The attitudes, the drama, the school, the things. So, and then we had the whole, the death of the child in the middle of it. And then we had the whole, hospitalization thing. And that to me, I feel was the turning point because when that happened, that was like, to me, that was like the biggest hit to me. Like I was like, I don't know what to do with this. Like I don't know. And that's when I needed the most help, the most support. And that's when he turned his back on me. He washed his hands of the situation and he's like, I don't want anything to do with it. It's your problem. You deal with it.
That kind of was my perspective on it. Was I think the downhill was not that it's anything bad, but when Aurora was born.
Yeah.
Because then now it almost felt like, and he said this not directly in the words, but that he didn't need us anymore.
Yeah.
Because he had his own kids now. And then Chicho came, and now he had two. So now, and then I distinctively remember the day that we moved, that I moved out and into here, was that he said something along the lines of like, I only care about my kids and my wife, meaning you and Aurora and Chicho.
And he doesn't know that that's the moment that I was like, this no longer can be. Like to him, he was like, okay, good. Now I'm going to have this beautiful, peaceful home without these stressful teenagers in it. But he doesn't realize how much that broke me.
And I'm pretty sure Ariana heard this too when he said that. And that kind of, because it wasn't like we were super close, but she also didn't want to be there in that situation. Ready to launch your senses into orbit? Meet Galaxy Treats, your cosmic companion for all things elevated. From their mouth-watering Moon Babies gummies to blast bars vapes that pack a punch, they've got your taste and toke covered. Prefer a classic puff? Their diamond-coated orbital pre-rolls are like comets for your lungs. And for the connoisseurs, of course, we have Space Nugs THCA flower that offers strains like cereal milk, trop cookies, delivering a stellar experience. All products are crafted in the USA, third-party lab tested, and come with a 30-day satisfaction guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the top of the description and blast off with Galaxy Treats. I think that when we left, it felt to him like you said, it's
a relief.
It was a relief.
Yeah.
But like, it's not like that was easy on.
Because that it didn't hurt his kids were fine, and he doesn't feel the pain of you guys like I felt your pain. But so yes, do I have mom guilt? Yes, I do.
And as welcoming as Gabi and Golitos and Jaime was here at the time, I'm pretty sure, right?
Jessica too.
Jessica was here. Oh no, you didn't live here.
Because you weren't here then.
No. Then Jaime wasn't here. Jaime wasn't here then.
No,
either.
because remember it was just Patty.
Patty was here after me.
He was
Patty
here.
didn't have to
Patty.
take
You lived
to
here?
Morris.
Oh no.
Not when I lived here.
No, it was just Jaime.
You guys gave me COVID like 3 times.
Oh well.
Oh, then we had COVID in the middle of it too, and like me dealing with preemie at home, and then these teenagers that didn't want to stay in place and not bring COVID to the 32-week-old infant.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, that was, I think for me, like I said, the turning point was first Aurora, then Chicho being born, because it just felt like the dynamic of the house change. And you guys did work a lot, so like,
Oh yeah, you guys babysat.
like we babysat.
But I never left you with Gordo. I just didn't feel safe leaving him.
No. But I definitely think that I don't know if we move the progression along, like I said, but
I think it was like, well, maybe it was the inevitable.
yeah,
Because like even
it just added to the list of things.
Yeah.
It added to the list.
like
of
to
things.
me, I was like super stressed out all the time, and it was just kind of like the
I almost
tension
feel
was
like
so
I
big
don't
in the
remember
house.
arguments that were as big as they were after Aurora was born.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I don't remember fights. I don't remember
Yeah.
fights that didn't include us that were as big.
That's because I felt like I did a better job hiding it. Like I did it. I would go. If I had a fight, and I think this goes back to like, you know, the certain comments that were made about how I didn't defend you enough, didn't defend you guys enough. I don't think you guys realized
No.
the amount of arguments, the amount of persuasion that had to go into convincing him to let you guys do certain things or go certain places or get certain things.
Which looking back, I don't understand. I
think
guess
it's
because
just
like
a
if I'm
narcissistic
picturing
control
myself
thing.
in that position, if I was like me now, going into that position, like I wouldn't be able to bring myself to take on the role that he took on
So that's kind of like
in the way that he took it on.
yeah.
Like the disciplining parent could not do it as a stepdad.
No.
Like it's just, it doesn't feel like the correct role. It doesn't feel like the correct place. Like looking back, I don't understand how
He took that on.
I mean, not saying you allowed any of it, like, because obviously it's like you're in a marriage, like you want to please
And
your
your
partner,
bio
and
dad wasn't there. So
yeah,
then
yeah.
it's
So
like,
you're
okay.
kind of like, thank God someone is here. You're like,
Yeah.
thank God that there's someone.
And
taking
honestly,
this role
I compare it a lot to like my upbringing, and I don't think it deviated a lot from my norm.
No, it didn't, because it's that Mexicano.
Yeah, macho Mexican
Yeah,
dad,
exactly.
overprotective. No, you can't do that. No, you can't go here. No. Minus, the spankings, because he didn't spank you guys other than like a handful of times.
Yeah, I think I kind of, at that point I was already,
Older.
when he felt confident enough to do that, like I was 10,
Oh.
Like, so what was it? Like, it wasn't really.
I didn't spank you just because it hurt my hand.
Yeah, but I got basically I got an ear piercing before I even got my ears pierced. So.
Yeah, I remember he always used to pinch your ear.
Yeah, but it got to a point where it was just.
It was like whatever.
Yeah. It was like.
But I think sorry to enter, but to me, like, as people looking out, like us as the family that was always looking at the situation from the outside, something that I thought was always different, like you were saying earlier, like that narcissistic, that power and control that he felt. We always saw it as in some of the moves he made weren't just being disciplinarian, which is why you can't imagine disciplining as a stepfather. But if you were a stepfather, you should be able to discipline because you're living in that household. But it would be fair shared discipline.
I guess I was mostly saying I wouldn't be able to do what he did.
Yeah.
I would be able to be a figure that stepped in where a figure was lacking, but I wouldn't be able to
do the discipline part of it.
Do the discipline how he did the discipline.
Yeah. Well, like I was gonna say, because I think what we always had noticed, I'm like, for us at least, when we would see the discipline aspect, that didn't. I mean, we all got our asses beat, so we all.
Yeah.
Know. I think to us it was the lack of regard for, and then especially when Aurora and Mauricio were born. You could see that he has the capacity for compassion.
Yes.
We could see that he had the capacity to let things go and be loving, where it was a lot of the discipline on you guys' end for the sake of having control.
I was saying, I was just gonna say that now looking at
it did feel
looking
like
at it from the outside in, it was like all a power and control thing. So much so is that my ex-husband and my sister did not get along, which now they're BFFs, which whatever. He texts her cute pictures of my kids instead of me. But
I know,
but
pop up text messages.
I was like, edit that out.
But anyway, so I like anytime my sister Gabby would give Aurora like a cute little dress with cute little shoes or whatever, things would just like magically disappear. My mom knitted Aurora a blanket when she was born. It was a beautiful pink blanket, and he hid it. He hid it for a long time. Because I don't know if like the jealousy, why he hid it. I don't know, but it was hidden in a drawer. And I remember a cute little pair of shiny, sparkly shoes that you had given Aurora for like Christmas or her birthday or something, with this cute little like rose gold pink dress. And I remember opening it for whatever it was, and I thought, oh, what a cute little dress with cute little shoes. And then I remember we were going to go to church, and I went to look for the dress and the shoes to put on her. Nowhere to be found until we were moving. You guys helped me move out, remember? And I found it in a drawer. In the very bottom, all the way at the bottom, there was a dress and the shoes. He had taken it and he had hidden it. So I just didn't know. I didn't know the purpose of it, I guess, but then like I said, looking back on it, it was just like a power and control thing. But I always used to tell, that was always my key line was, they don't hurt you like they hurt me. When he wouldn't like let you guys do something or let you go somewhere, or I'd be like, come on. I'm like, well, Damian wants to stay out until 10. Why don't we let him stay out till 9:30 if you don't want him to stay till 10? Like I was always like, there was always like a negotiation going on. Always, always, always. And I always used to tell him, they don't hurt you like they hurt me. I said, I need you to understand that they hurt me. They don't hurt you. And I want this for them. And he was like, you not what they want is always what's good for them. But again, we go back to power and control.
I just feel like I don't understand the justification behind the desire to be that way.
Because he's a narcissist.
I guess.
I'll say pop up definition of a narcissist.
Okay.
And then pop a picture of your stepdaddy. Maybe.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Awkward.
I just try to, not saying that I don't want to not raise Kalea how I was raised, because I don't think it was that bad.
Yeah, like looking back at it, was
like there were some things where I was like, but then the things that I would say were bad when I was 16, 15, I look back now, I'm like, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah. Like that's why did I
pay rent?
Would I have done it differently?
No.
Yes, I would have. But did you guys have a bad upbringing? No, I don't think you did. I mean, like, again, I go back to, I compare it a lot to how I was raised.
Yeah.
I'm like, look at me over here thriving, 42, single.
Yeah, I don't think it really, like, oh my God. I don't think it really affected me that much, but I think
Slide into my DMs, guys.
Oh my God.
Hey,
Yeah, someone get her a drink of water. She's getting real thirsty.
Susie, put up your hand. Tinder account profile here.
I don't think you can search people, can you? Can you do
No,
that?
I don't think so. You can search people on Tinder.
Facebook profile here.
Yeah, don't give her ideas. She's gonna
Ooh,
write Tinder.
my Facebook profile.
Oh my God.
She's gonna have Keely market it.
Keely, get on it.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think it was bad. I think people have said that our upbringing was really hard and whatever. If you're still smoking regular tobacco wraps, I think it's time to switch it up. So Fruit Peels is 100% natural fruit wraps. No nicotine, no additives, no nothing. They are like the cleanest wrap you can possibly get. I don't indulge as often as I used to, but when I do, it's got to be something clean, you know? So Fruit Peels does just that for me. They burn slow, they taste great, and honestly, once you try them, you probably won't go back. Honestly, some of the best wraps you can get on the market right now. So go show the people who support this show some love. Head over to realfruitpeels.com and use code BULLSHIT at checkout for an extra 12% off. That's code BULLSHIT, BULLSHIT at checkout for an extra 12% off. I think people have said that, like, aspects of our upbringing were difficult or traumatic or whatever the word may be. And like, I compare it to, let's just say, Keely's upbringing, which I think, like, I look at Keely's upbringing and I'm like, I think it's so different looking at like, I guess the outcome, but there are a lot of aspects that were the same. And I'm like,
Yeah. Well,
it's it's location, it's parent background, it's all the things that go into it, but it's all rooted in the same thing.
I remember one time you were like 16. It had to have been 16 because you were talking about your insurance. And you said something along the lines of, my friend so-and-so gets an allowance and his parents don't make him pay for his car or his insurance. And I said something along the lines, well, lucky him. I said, because you did not get a mom that makes that kind of money to let you do that. And I mean, like, if I had it, would I have done it? Yeah, 1,000% I would have. But I also let you borrow my credit to get a car. You know, is that in the parent handbook? No, I checked it. It doesn't say thou shalt buy your child a car. No, it doesn't. Thou shalt pay their insurance. No, it doesn't. It says thou shalt keep them alive and fed and homed. Pero
I see, and I would. And I got I love my first car, and it was great.
There you go.
It was great. And I look at the difference there, and like, Keely got a car when she was 16. I don't know if it's the one she's driving now, but her dad did the good thing, and it wasn't like a super nice car. It was a pretty cheap car, but it got her where she needed to go. And I feel like that's another very good route to take. I don't know what route I will end up taking.
right.
Because I don't know what point I'll be at.
Where you're gonna be at financially.
Yeah.
Because if I had the finances
to go buy a car.
To go and be like, that man, here's a car, I would have 1,000% done it. Because who doesn't want to help their kids? Like, if I could pay for your college, why wouldn't I? Like, just to help you out, like, to give you a better, you know, like, your Golito did what he could to make our lives better than his. So I'm doing what I can to make your life better than mine.
And the goal is to
break generational norms and do better
every time.
Yes. Now we do go back to, you know, like they say that our generation raised the what are they called? Niños de cristal. How do you translate that to English?
The glass children.
The glass children, something like
Or
that. But anyway, basically, no offense, but your generation's weak.
Yeah.
Like we were out in fields doing things we shouldn't be doing at your age when you used to make me watch you take out the garbage because it was dark. At the same age, you know, like we were out till
but I look
hours
at
of the
that.
night
I
with
look at
no
that even
phones
now.
and no anything, with serial killers probably out on the loose, and nobody could care less. When your generation is like they can't.
Well, I would have
just
done that if I was
overprotected it.
allowed to, but
We were up being pro.
Yeah, we're getting permanent records.
I look at now even a few years younger than us. How it's so different because the iPhone came out in 2007.
Yeah.
So every kid after that has not lived in a world without social media.
So let me tell you why it bothers me so much that your stepdad went and got a new phone, kept his old phone, and gave the old phone to Aurora.
What?
Like, it doesn't have a plan on it, but she is at his house constantly on her phone, and she says, it's my phone. And I'm like, she's like, yeah, it has internet, and it has this, and it has that. And I'm just like, why? You're 5. You're 7. Like, you didn't get your first phone until you were 12. And the only reason I got it is because I got super embarrassed.
And you got me that little Alcatel for Christmas.
Yeah. Well, was that the best Christmas present you ever got, or what?
It was so cool. But it was, I look back now, I'm like, the stepping stones, how you're so grateful for,
Yes.
It was great. It was a little 3-inch screen.
Do you know how much I had to beg, borrow, and plead for that?
And it was $20.
It was not $20. I don't even remember how much it was.
I looked at it. I'm pretty sure it was like $30.
But then it was not.
Yeah, but the plan was more.
The plan was more.
Yeah.
The phone, I'm sure, was probably free.
It was probably free. No, because it was on the AT&T Go. Remember? We did that.
No. Every time you got a new line, you got a free phone.
They got the free phone.
And we packaged it, and then I called him in the morning to his new phone, and then he's like,
and I loved that phone.
Big and bad with his phone.
And then remember, I got the bigger one
because it wasn't good enough. What his mommy got him wasn't good enough. He had to do better.
I think I got that for Christmas too, right?
Did you pay for it yourself, or how did you get a new one?
He did.
I did, yeah. I mean, it wasn't expensive,
Let's
but
talk about how I gave you that iPod and then you lost it. And
I still have it. Wait, which iPod?
Shuffle?
Yeah, I still have the shuffle. It's somewhere. It's somewhere in a box in my basement. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, why would I use it? I have to buy iTunes music to download to it.
I have it.
Oh, you have a shuffle?
No, I have iTunes Music.
Oh.
You can get on Jessica's account.
Okay, but yeah.
Your uncle's so mad.
You gave me a Nano first, though, right?
Yeah.
That one was really
I
cool.
got in trouble for that one too.
Yeah. Well, because this idiot would
But you only got the Nano because you were like a Touch would probably get you killed. The iPod Touch would have probably got you killed.
He puts on his Christmas list a pony and whatever as super expensive things, and I'd look at it and I'd be like, no, we can't, no, and I'd make him redo it because Jesus got incense and myrrh. Be happy they didn't give you that.
I'd love to get incense now for Christmas.
See, you're showing your age now.
Yeah, no, I think it is so different, and it is so scary now. Myself raising and you raising little kids,
Every little thing you do, you think about it.
And you got Gabi. If you guys don't know, Gabi has a 14-year-old.
Yes.
So I think it is so hard raising kids around social media.
Oh my God, so hard because they're into everything. They know everything. They want everything.
And I feel like it almost puts like a. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but it just makes parenting 10 times harder.
Yeah.
Because even me and Keely struggle, not like we're better at it now, but struggle staying ourselves off of our phones, so that we don't transplant that mentality to Kalea. But it's really hard because the world revolves around the internet.
Well, tell me why the other day I lost my phone. I fell asleep on the couch, couldn't find my phone, and I just didn't go to work because how was I going to drive to work without my phone?
What?
Well, I drive all the way to Downers Grove.
And you don't know how to get to Downers Grove?
No, I know, but what if something happened to me on the road? People don't stop and help a damsel in distress anymore. How was I supposed to call for
Keely
help?
stopped and asked someone if they needed help when they crashed their car the other day.
Oh, they crashed?
I think they.
I was like, she pulled over to help to change a tire.
That's what I said. I was like, Keely, what are you gonna do?
I'm thoroughly convinced Jessica wants to end up on Dateline, because it could be 3 a.m. and a car will break down with 3 creepy guys with masks. She's like, should we stop? No.
Like,
No,
Susie,
no.
wait.
I agree with Jessica. Like if Mauricio used to do that all the time. Like if he'd see somebody, specifically if it was a woman on the side of the road with a flat tire or something, and I commend him for that because
that.
I give him that because he'd be like, let me pull over and see if they want help. Which a couple of times, like I think one time they're like, yeah, can you help me change this tire? But most of the time they're like, oh, I already have somebody coming. But it doesn't hurt you to stop and see.
You know
So
what?
again, damsel in distress.
My thing was like, I'm all for helping, but like my thing was like, how is Keely gonna help?
Well,
Like
if the
no
person
shot
was-
to Keely.
Wait, but if
Maybe
the
it was
person
your
was,
mom who
it was an
forgot her phone.
accident.
I don't know I don't actually know
Yeah,
what was
what if
happening.
it was me that forgot my phone and I'm like, oh my God, thank God you're here. Can you call AAA for me? Can you call my son to come help me
Okay,
change
that's
this
true,
tire?
That's true.
Susie, doesn't your car have an SOS button? I know Chevy has an SOS.
Yeah.
It does,
Oh,
but do
and
you
doesn't
pay
it have
for that?
internet?
It seems like we're finding excuses for Susie not to go to work.
Now, if I paid for the OnStar, the SOS button would be perfect. However,
I remember us always getting like the free trial of OnStar.
so let me tell
And,
you,
like, using
let me
it
tell you
for
a
a
funny
little bit.
story about the one time I activated OnStar because I was lost. I drove Mauricio to the airport and I was driving back from O'Hare and I obviously got on the wrong road and I was lost somewhere in Chicago. Remember, I think I called you that I said, Jaime, the buildings are getting bigger instead of smaller. What do I do?
I can't take me serious with a dude like that. Just look at, do it again.
She looks like she should get a mental.
Gigi!
She's
She
going.
was having so much fun.
You never play with my dog.
With your snaggle?
She can't stay still.
Look at perfectly
She can't
still.
stay because she's on the sofa where she shouldn't be. Wait till mom and dad get back. Yeah, when mom and dad get back, she's gonna get it.
God. Yeah, what were we on? What topic were we on?
Helping women damsel in
No,
distress.
Damsels
the
in distress.
The building's getting smaller.
Oh yeah, that I called Jaime because Jaime was living in Chicago at the time, and I was like, "Hey Jaime, let's say hypothetically speaking that I'm supposed to be driving from O'Hare back home, but the buildings are getting bigger
remember
instead of
that.
smaller. What do I do?" And then he goes, "Where are you?" And I was like, again, hypothetically speaking, let's say I don't know where I am. Well, what exit are you coming on? I'm like, I don't know. And then finally I saw an exit and I told him what exit it was. And then he's like, oh, you're way over there. I was like,
But it's like,
But I don't understand how, no shot, no shade, how most women I know
Most
whoa,
Are
wait.
are very
What?
directionally
I
challenged.
totally agree with you because you could be like, what mile marker are you passing? She's like, I don't know. There's a big white building, and you're like, what?
What? Yeah.
You're
Like
like,
Keely's
"What?"
like,
True.
well, like I used to do a thing with Keely where we'd go somewhere and I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna get home with no directions. She's like, how are you gonna get home? I'm like, I remember how we got here. She's like, what? And then I'll do it, and then she's like, I could never do that. And I'm like, how? You saw this street, you saw this street. This is the intersection, and
Fun fact: I went to go have your mom fix my neck, my bandage yesterday,
yeah,
which is what 3 minutes from our apartment.
yeah, less. It's 30 seconds.
1, 2. It's like 2 turns.
Yeah, it's 30 seconds.
We got there, and she's like, on the way there, she's like, straight. I'm like, no, right. And then she's like, keep going. So I'm like, yeah.
What?
Wait, from your house to my house?
Wait, what? That's literally 3 blocks, guys. Like, that's actually 3 blocks.
Yeah. So
Nah,
on
hey,
the way
you're just
back-
making us look bad over there.
On the way back, she's like, gonna pass it. She's gonna go the wrong way. And I'm like, where are you going? Mind you, I had a UTI, so it was literally like, we had to leave point A and rush to point B.
He didn't have to.
By the way, men can get UTIs.
Oh my god. Well, like, Keely.
Wait, in my defense.
She's
I'm-
Asian.
Shut up.
What does that have anything to do with anything?
Bad driver.
Bad
I never
time.
tried.
Can we
You
say that in
always try.
2025?
I'm married one, so I can.
Oh, okay.
No, you can't.
That's his street cred?
Yeah.
No. He
He sounds like Bati right now.
Yeah, I know.
I'm trying to tell you. He always drives. My face is always down. I driven to your apartment by myself from my apartment?
I don't know.
Never. Because he's always driving. So.
I'm not
It's
even
not
going to
justified.
talk to you.
My
That is-
well, my thing is like Keely used to use directions to get home from the town she's from.
But that helps with timing too, because it tells you how long it takes.
But she goes the same way every time.
But it tells you how long it takes.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Hey,
Like
and
the
then it
first
tells-
time I drove from here to Peoria, I didn't need directions anymore.
Hey, but it tells you if there's a cop on the road.
True.
I have eyes. Like what are we talking about?
I'm blind.
And it tells you if there's an accident.
No, you shouldn't be
It
driving.
tells-
You should-
it tells
well,
you-
my car now and my last car will still tell me if there's an accident, even if I don't put directions
Well,
on.
does her car tell her that?
Keely's car?
Yes.
No,
That's
but
okay.
First car.
Thank
so.
you.
it's actually her second car, I think.
Either way, her car doesn't do
I'm
what your
just
car
saying, women,
does. Women,
public service announcement, women, open your eyes when you drive.
you're crazy.
I'm just like
I am an excellent
I don't
driver.
But even if I didn't watch How We Go, like I just like, okay, where am I? Which way is
Right, you're like, north is that way.
north is that way. I know
I
we're
think I
in
could be like, shit, if I go east, I'll hit this route.
And then
Yeah,
when you
if I just
assholes
go-
are like, head north, I'm like, am I going right or left at the
Right,
McDonald's?
what the fuck? Up or down?
I was like, I don't know where the F north is.
Like, if-
there's that windmill. Remember? There's
Yeah,
that
if you
windmill.
tell me go straight at the windmill and then take a left at the McDonald's and then a right at the Dairy Queen and then hang a left at whatever, then I got you.
I tried
But
to
don't be
explain
like,
to Keely one time, like the direction thing. Like if I know north is this way, then if I just go east for so long, eventually I'm gonna hit
That
55
just sounds dangerous.
55.
That just
or
sounds
whatever.
Like you're just winging it. And
It does kind of sound like Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah,
the
that,
movie,
that
but
sounds.
That's where we go to die.
But if you know you're, if you know
Speaking
you're in a
of
town
Dateline
where a
episodes-
highway is somewhere, and you know that the highway is this direction, eventually you're gonna see a sign that says
Hey,
74 east, 1
why are you
mile.
women bashing on Mother's Day? Is all I gotta say.
Can I just say something? I feel like you're one of the guys that you go on a family trip with, and you're like, "No, honey, I don't need GPS. I got this." And then you're like in a river somewhere by a swamp.
No, the
Let's
only
talk about-
time I get lost
Let's
is
talk about the time we were driving home from God knows where, and my dad, love you, Dad, was all like, called me because he's in a different car behind me, and then
with
he's
his
like,
mappa in the car.
with his Atlas that he's,
Oh,
that he's all
yeah,
like,
it's literal
hold
Atlas.
on.
It's like a big coloring book.
It's a huge book if you don't know what
Yeah.
an atlas is.
He pulls it out still. He
It
does
sits
excellent
it sits
with
in the
it.
van and behind the seat.
He actually just took it out of his van. He threw it away.
Using GPS.
Yep.
Oh my God, he's gonna get
damn,
lost.
He's gonna get
Yeah.
lost. Anyway, so then he calls me and then he's
I
like,
don't know where all the cops
What
are.
if an EMP
I
goes
don't know
off
where
and now he
all the
can't
cops
use?
are.
Stupid.
He'll know where all the cops are.
well, so let me tell you, he goes, so are you gonna take blah, blah, blah? I'm like, no, I'm gonna take whatever my GPS tells me to take.
Remember,
And
this
then
is in
he's-
Spanish too.
And then
by the
he's
way.
like, that's not the road that I would take. And then, so my sister, Gabby, and I are in the car, and we look at each other, and then we're like, he's going to be all FML if we don't listen to his
Was this when
instructions.
you guys went to Champagne?
No, because Dad was with us. The Father's Day special.
About that gem for Father's Day. The slap.
Wait, I was saying, do you
I don't know the story. I'm just like,
No, you know the story.
About how your
The
mom
sla-
got knocked out by your abuelito.
And then I walked over her dead limp body.
wait, what?
You almost knocked
Let's
out
talk
your
about
Wait,
childhood
when was
trauma.
this?
It's her childhood trauma. Don't bring it back.
I was, what, 17?
Wait, Jessica was there?
No, I wasn't.
Oh,
But she,
This was,
Yeah.
this was in our Jefferson
Jefferson
Oh.
Street house. This was before you were even
statute of
born.
limitations, so you guys can tell the story. Dad won't go to jail.
oh, okay.
This was, okay. Do I tell it or should we wait for the Father's Day
It's up
special?
to you. Go ahead.
Just nobody.
Do you want to hear the story?
Yeah, I want to hear this.
Okay. So, one day,
Start out that you guys were bad kids.
we were not bad
You
kids.
guys were the wild
You both
cards.
had permanent records.
Yeah, at this point, you guys both had permanent.
AKA, we did not. But anyway, so Gabby and her best friend wanted to go to Champagne to see their boyfriends.
You
I did
shouting
not.
it out? You shouting out who the best friend is?
Oh, I thought the boyfriend. I was like,
Should we shout out the best friend?
huh?
Should we shout out the best friend?
That's fine. Shout my best friend.
Shout out to Nancy.
Nancy.
Well, Nancy wasn't there with the slap.
No, because she got permission from her parents.
You dorks came back.
No, she got permission from her parents. So my sister was like, "Do we ask for permission?" And then I go, "Gabby, you know if we ask for permission, they're gonna say no." I said, "So let's ask for forgiveness instead."
I'm a good daughter.
So here we are. We printed our MapQuest directions because we're gonna go to Champaign. So this was 3 pages of MapQuest directions, and we drove to Champaign 4 hours, singing to the top of our lungs.
Probably Alanis Morissette.
No.
Wrong song.
Dixie Chicks, Wide Open Spaces.
Insert wide open space.
Insert wide open spaces. Dixie Chicks. Dixie Chicks. Get it right. Anyway, so we gallivanted, we got a hotel room.
Broke up with my boyfriend.
She broke up with her boyfriend, sad day.
Did not come home.
We did. Susie behaved herself and was great. Susie did nothing.
Wait, at what point did you say, "I'm not afraid of Dad"?
So then,
when did that come in?
so then we drove home the next day and
Went the wrong way on the highway.
went the wrong way on the
Because
highway.
they're terrible with directions.
Ended up
But
in
hey,
Canada.
we went. Thanks to our MapQuest directions, we made it
They
home.
found the windmill and they made it home.
We took a left at the windmill and made it home. So then we're standing outside of our Jefferson house, and Gabby and I are standing next to each other.
I was scared.
And then Gabby goes, and then I go, and then we're like, well, and then I'm like, I said, I'm not afraid of him.
Okay.
So then we
then
walk into the house, and then in our old house, you walk in and it's living room, dining room, kitchen, and then the minute my dad hears the door open, here he comes from the kitchen. He peers out of his eyes just gleaming, and we're like, okay. And my goal was get my ass upstairs, and he comes at me.
You could not juke him. I'll tell you that right
From
now.
the kitchen at me, and he's full like swing. He's swinging.
He's working up a.
He's working up
Like a power slap?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
a power slapper?
And he's like,
yeah, like he's revving up,
Like
Tom and Jerry. Yeah, like revving up.
Were you watching it? Were you watching
Yeah.
it?
Gabby's,
That's
wait,
sweet.
I come in hot. Gabby's all behind like, and then so my dad comes at
I
me
thought we should come in sorrowful. That would have been
like,
my
oh, I'm
technique.
so
Yeah,
sorry.
that
And
was
I
my
said,
technique.
I'm
And
not
her
afraid of
technique
him.
was IDGAF. I said, okay, well, you go for IDGAF.
So he meets me. He's from the kitchen. I'm from the living room. We meet in the dining room, and he just
well, you more met his hand.
met his hand. So he hit me so hard. Number one, my body slammed up against the wall. I saw black and little stars, and all I remember was kind of melting into a little puddle.
Go around your head.
I melted into a little puddle on the floor, and then your Golito just walked over.
Did your tooth look like that too? Or?
That's why she got the veneer.
And then what does Gabby get? She just gets.
Seriously?
Because now he's lost momentum from having to walk over my dead body. And she just gets a little.
You think he kind of realized how hard he hit you? Was like, I
No,
can't do
because he
anything.
didn't even look back.
He saw I was sorrowful and she was willful.
The real fault.
Yeah.
Do you think we should sign Golito up for power slap with what's his name? Dana White
Oh my
or whatever?
God.
I've gotten it. I mean,
Legit, I saw.
Have you seen a
stars,
power
and it
slap
went
knockout,
black.
Mom?
No.
Let's see, compare.
what's
power
that
slap.
one girl?
Like this is what I'm picturing you.
Wait, let me see.
And you could say if yours was
Like, no, mine was way worse. I can tell. I saw black. I remember. I just remember my body up against the wall.
Statute of limitations. My dad can't go to prison.
Look.
Was your mom there?
I mean,
No, she was in the house.
The fire. She looks innocent, but she used to
Look.
the fire.
This is one of the pros.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me.
Are you gonna cue that?
Oh,
Turn it around. Let me see.
You should put it in the back of the
Oh, 100. Except for she felt just like that too.
yeah, like
She had the same hair as that.
Except for she fell forward.
yeah. Well, because I hit the wall, and then I went. Whoop.
Damian, you gotta put in the finisher.
Like a reenactment.
Wait, so at what point were you guys like, maybe we shouldn't be defiant and be good kids and not stay out all night?
Well, you know what? That was the funny thing that I liked about growing up with Dad is once you got your beat down, you were done.
That was it.
Right, there was
Like
no
our
groundings.
Like our friends were all like, we're grounded after we got in trouble. We're like,
I'm like, well, we just got our ass beat, but I'm good to go.
Hey guys, I'll see you in a week. I'm gonna go scoot. Or
I can't sit, but I gotta wipe the blood off my leg.
God.
We're good to go.
Every time you scoop past their house, you just like Too Short said, chunk up a deuce for the haters.
That is crazy. I think because I even say now, like, I wouldn't do the grounding.
Are you
For
gonna, do you
Kalea.
think you're gonna spank her?
No, not that either.
So what's your plan for discipline?
Right? That's
You're
what
just gonna take the
that's
red
what I
dye
haven't
and
figured out yet. Because I don't
Take
want to
away
do
her
the.
red dye?
I think grounding is so ineffective.
It is.
Mhm, it is ineffective.
Like, I think back to when I was grounded.
So we make
And I'm like-
jokes. We make jokes about, corporal punishment. I feel like
It can be
in our
overdone.
day, it was overdone maybe a little bit, but
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe.
we all turned out.
You were like, maybe.
All in all, like Dad didn't do too bad.
Yeah.
He's got two
Could've
kids.
been worse.
2 kids with degrees. The other 2 have good jobs at this point.
One of them's got a hole in his neck. Like, I don't know.
One has no tooth.
He's
One
one.
of them turned into a hill.
Can we say that in 2025? You just.
I can say that too because my wife is from Virginia.
You better shut the fuck up. My white family is nuts, you better stop. Scratch that out.
No, but
Scratch that
I
out.
mean-
Not even edit it out. Scratch it out.
it's I don't really have any trauma. More we laugh about it. Maybe that's
Yeah.
our coping mechanism. But
Yeah.
It is.
I don't think back and I'm not like,
I just-
remember the time that Dad beat my ass. you know?
People who say that, I just feel like I don't have a memory of like
The trauma.
any.
It's the
Like,
trauma.
I'm trying to think
Well,
back
my
to.
therapist told me that I blocked it
have
out.
memories of certain ones.
I
remember
feel
the
like
last
I
time
can't
had it.
remember anything until you guys bring it up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't sit there and I'm like, oh, this happened. Blah, blah. I don't reminisce over the past until we're sitting here telling a story and I'm like, oh yeah, that did happen. But I can't sit there and like pull memories out unless
So
something
like
sparks it.
allegedly, I threw a rock at one of my sisters.
Not allegedly. I'm pretty sure it
That's-
happened.
Hey, I did that
I'm
too.
pretty sure that alleged scar on her head said
That's
would say
hey,
different.
that's alleged.
Allegedly, my bloody shirt proved otherwise.
But I don't remember it. So did it happen?
Yes, it did, because there was 2 live witnesses.
So
There was your entire family was there.
I'm pretty sure your therapist said you told him that or her that you don't remember your childhood. So
No, before I was
stories
12.
aren't adding up.
Well, she remembers hers, and she
She's
was
got a
there.
permanent record. Are we really gonna believe her? And no,
The scar thing, though, you see the scar? Remember?
That was you being a dumbass on
What was
a
the-
Walmart shopping cart.
That was the when you took the nosedive.
Oh.
The nosedive.
Well,
on
what was the
Walmart
one where I
On
get-
the- yeah.
What was the
Here
one
I
where
was
I
trying
got
to
the?
save
You
his
remember
life.
one time you came home and I was like on the floor or something and I.
That's this scar right here. When you went into the corner of a
No,
dresser.
no, no. I'm talking about the Ninja Star painting to my eye.
The what?
Do you remember this? You came home and I was like on the floor and you were like, nobody called you, nobody said anything to you, but it was me and a painting had gotten thrown at my head. And you were like, why did no one say anything? You could have gone blah, 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 and I was like, it wasn't a deep.
I was
cut,
probably
it was
going into like save your life mode.
Yeah.
I don't.
You see how she doesn't remember shit, but all of a sudden she remembers me throwing a rock.
Dumb.
Anyways, yeah.
I also remember people who ruined people's toys.
Yeah. Let's talk about that.
Hey,
Let's talk about my buddy.
Can we
You
talk?
cut my hair
Wait.
and my sheets.
Stop. I
Pretty
wanna
sure
hear-
you cut your own sheets.
Susie, I want to hear this story
What story?
from your side.
What
From
story?
when a parent vacuum sucked up your
Oh
hair.
my god.
I
Hey, I'm out of that one. I was like, oh yeah.
Harvey's sitting on the other couch like,
I'm like, she'll fucking do it, Susie. And then I'm like, I'm the hype girl. I'm like, yeah, we fucking do it.
All these years later, you know you deserved it.
I kind of did. I instigated that
What?
one hardcore.
You
Okay.
were an asshole.
So this
She
idiot
was
was
an asshole,
vacuuming, and I at the
a good
time
girl, 'cause
Gabby
my
was
parents
kind of
had
a
to
tyrant.
she was a tyrant, literally.
Pete, when you guys didn't do the things you were supposed to do.
I remember I did.
There was a 7-year-old left in charge.
Hey, statute of limitations.
Statute of limitations. She's 44. She's fine.
Did you have all your teeth back then?
Yeah, you hit
I want to pop up a picture of you.
your quota of talking about it. I can't say it I say it
You developed a stutter with the missing tooth. She has a lisp now.
I told you she turned into a hillbilly. Just like that.
So anyway, he was sitting on the couch. She was being a tyrant, vacuuming.
I was trying to get them to help you.
I was laying on the couch, and at the time, I had hair like down below my butt. It was super long. And
You're
I was-
really short, so that's like.
That's not a lot.
Stop.
You know what? The best perfumes come in small bottles, aka me. Anyway,
No,
So-
it's cheaper. And you can get them online.
You get a free sample at Prada when you buy anything else.
Facebook. Facebook site
You
here.
can get them on TikTok.
edit that out. Anyway, so my hair was super long at the time, and I was laying on the couch, and my hair was like hanging onto the floor. And this tyrant was vacuuming. She's like, pick up your hair. And I was like, make me. And then she was like, pick up your hair. And I was like, make me. So then what did she do? She was like vacuuming extremely
Oh, it's one of those
close,
old school vacuums too, right?
extremely close to my hair.
I said,
next
if you
thing
don't
I
pick up
know,
your hair, I'm
next
gonna
thing
vacuum.
I know,
I warned her that I was going to vacuum.
next thing I know, the vacuum is right here
didn't actually
to
think
my
you
head.
would pick it up.
She is freaking out.
Just slice them.
And she's all like freaking out with the vacuum. I had like a clip in my hair because I had like and then the vacuum just ripped all my hair along with the clip out. And then finally this idiot was like, oh, hold on, let me shut the vacuum off. Anyway, that's
then
when
we
we
rolled it
where
up
we
and we were
pulled
like,
the
"You're okay,
chunk of my hair out of the vacuum. And I'm like,
Yeah, and Gabby pulled the, you're fine.
don't tell mom, it's
I
fine.
didn't say don't tell her.
You're
Because
okay.
I knew you'd tell her. I'd just be like, you're okay. Here, let me see what's going on. You're fine.
Let's
you're
put this
fine."
clip right back, along with all the hair I just ripped out of your head.
But
Oh.
don't you think she deserved it? Think about you and your sister. If you were left in charge of your sister and her job, if she's being an asshole, not only not doing her chore, she was impeding you doing your chore, and you warned her several times. I mean,
Or
just
would
give
you
me
have
some
just
water.
like
Can I
waited
get
for
some
your
water?
mom to get home? Maybe.
There's my water bottle right there.
No, I like no.
Well, this was fun. This was fun. Any closing remarks? Any?
Hey, why don't you end with the best things you remember about?
Yeah,
your
let's talk
mom?
about that.
It's Mother's Day. So
How
you
about
should
the
end
mothers
with
in your life since you grew up with a bunch
or
of
any
them?
special mother figures. that you'd
Like
to
his
say.
mother?
Well, he should end with his mom, but also maybe he has a shout out for a special mother figure. Maybe a godmother.
Or like an uncle?
That's not.
That's not a mother.
All right, let's not make it about me then, apparently. The tyrant and the asshole are speaking.
I think my favorite part or memory was
He doesn't have.
No,
He doesn't have one.
it's okay. You
I
call your
failed.
therapist. Call your
But
therapist.
there's probably so many of
It's
them.
because there's so many. Oh, hype girl.
You know.
Get it?
You know my. Hey, girl, insert
It's
I
a hype
think-
girl.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of the things I enjoyed were after like childhood, like now into college years, like that, like Mom's Weekend. Like, so being able to, I feel like being able to communicate without
Crying?
having to, no,
No.
I like having to watch what I'm saying. I feel like that's more
Like me
enjoyable.
treating you like an
this,
adult?
like this, being treated like an adult. Like the first time I chugged a beer in front of you, you know?
And I was like this.
But then she stands up and goes, "That's my son," at the freaking mom's weekend table, and then gets drunk off 2 glasses of wine. Like,
She's built up a tolerance.
Yeah, she's a pro now. Try that again.
that was like the first time I felt like, oh, this is like different now. And
Because you felt the change. I think.
Yeah. And I think that's probably a favorite memory now, looking at like it all, like I guess you could say it all paid off, or it all worked out in the end. Because it's like we're at a different stage now. I can come and like not, I guess kids all, like you censor yourself until you reach a certain point. And like now it's like,
you know, they always say like you lose your kids like when they're teens, and then you're like, oh, they're gone. And then they say that you do get them back. It's true, you do get them back. Evidenced by this, like he'll reach out to me, like just to FaceTime Kalea or just to chat, and that's like it's always like, oh, all my hard work paid off.
Yeah, because when would I have done that in high school?
Before? I know, I barely saw you. I was like, wait,
Well,
I have a son.
Okay.
Because I don't get phone calls or nothing. So.
Did you give birth to his 16 centimeter head out of your 10 centimeter vagina?
It probably felt like it.
Yeah.
You probably took a big poop that day too.
I was there when your head did.
I heard it. I dropped your dad off at the train station. Huh? Don't say I never did nothing
Dead
for
dead.
And you paid for the train.
And I paid for the train ticket and lent him money, which he still owes me.
How much? How much money?
Insert the IOU.
I gave him a 20. The train ticket's only 10, so I got cash out.
Yikes.
Well, no closing remarks, anybody?
Happy Mother's
Happy
Day,
Mother's
everybody.
Day.
Well, happy Mexican Mother's Day, and tomorrow Happy Mother's Day to
Happy
everybody
Mother's
else.
Day from, well, this will come out
Later.
next week, but it's Mother's Day.
Happy post Mother's Day.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day from Beneath the Bullshit. It was a good episode. Make sure you guys tune into the last one with the family.
And slide into my DMs. Guys. 35 to 45.
I think she meant to say subscribe.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Make sure you watch the last one. Make sure you guys tune into the next one. And we will be adding possibly in the shop clips with these new microphones. I don't know if you noticed. We have new microphones now.
Fancy.
The bag just fell off of that one.
No. It's a necklace.
Oh.
So it's like it's all new microphones. Sorry, distractions.
Problems with live studio audiences.
So we might be adding like in the shop clips. Possibly. I've been testing it out, testing the theory, but we'll see. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Beneath the Bullshit, and we will see you next time.
Bye,
Not
y'all.
above, not inside, but beneath.
The bullshit.
Oh my God.
You guys suck.